The Japanese garden embodies the art-evoking nature majesty within the compact spaces. From the tea gardens to the dry garden Zen Buddhism to the pocket garden of the city dwellers, Japanese culture have produced many styles of garden. The earliest one in the 17th century were ritual spaces. Later, garden corner aesthetic and social role. In the recent time, garden is even spread out in the roof balcony. This time where famous garden will see the role of the garden had played in the Japanese way of life. Japanese garden use natural materials to evoke majestic ocean, mountains, hills, and rivers on a smaller scale. There are three main styles of the traditional gardens. The most typical one features a pond of stream at the center, providing the scene of water. This pond, for example, represents the ocean surrounded by amounts of earth surrounding the mountains. It's a typical Japanese landscape. Amongst many gardens were designed in this style. Another style is a classic dry garden which uses no water at all. Instead, water is represented arrangement of rocks and gravel. A ledge of bare rocks suggests a waterfall. A bed of white gravel rushing water in Zen Buddhism contained. The plan of this garden is considered a path to enlightenment. The third style of traditional Japanese garden is the tea garden, developed the extension of the tea ceremony. Japanese gardens have three primary elements: stone, water, and trees. The stone is usually not dressed, instead rocks is used on natural state, color, and shape. Rocks getting up a pond is represent as the island of a sea, and the stone of the water edge is a rocking seashore. A number of rocks may be placed together to put trail waterfall. Trees representing forests and mountains of ruin, but in a way present a nature appearance. Stone, water, and trees. These three elements that combine to present a garden, the natural scenery of Japan. Several new styles at garden appeared in the early 17th century. The shogun ordered all the funeral lots to have residents of Edo, now Tokyo. There the lot complete to create the lavish garden of their urban state, and some example remains today. Koishikawa Korakuen was built in 17th century by a powerful regional leader.
Let's take a stroll through it. You enter the woods to the sound of water. It's called Shiraito no Taki, literally Silk Thread Falls. Here at the foot of Mount Fuji is the real Shiraito Falls. The garden recreates the falls in miniature. Beyond the waterfall we come to a stream. Looking along this river, we see a bridge. It is modelled on a well-known bridge in Kyoto. Moving on, we come to a spot inspired by Tofukuji, a Kyoto temple famous for its autumn foliage. The garden is a showcase of Japan's most celebrated vistas. In centuries past, it was no easy task to travel around Japan, so regional lords recreated famous sites in their own gardens and invited guests to experience a kind of travel by proxy. Japanese gardens came to be important places for socializing, recreation and relaxation.
Mukojima Hakken was built in early 19th century. One of people of past time was looking at flower bloom. All kinds of flowers were planted in the garden and people all came from the city to see them. The Edo period was a time of peace and economic flourish. Well-to-do urban merchants began cultivating small gardens at home. This is a compact pocket garden, koyan garden, when rolled to make the house brighter. This plant is called lady palm. It's green all year round, so the guests have entered here and house to greet them properly. That's the function of the space. The gardens in a circle setting for greeting guests. This is the outside of the master room. This is the private garden. It's much more formal. Well, the townhouses long and narrow, and Kyoto had hot and humid summer. In addition to bringing light, this courtyard garden is improved air circulation.
The two gardens are laid out so that one gets sunlight all day, while the other is always in the shade. There's a natural temperature difference, which results in circulation of air through the house.
Tokyo residential neighborhood is packed with houses, but the closer look reveals that almost every house is patched of green. The gardens, no matter how tiny the space available, people love to have a garden of some kind. Here we in the residence of Tokyo. With detached limelight of street, let's take a look at one of the gardens here. It's small but it's very beautiful. Simple miniature garden, but it still managed to incorporate Japanese element. Here's a very different setting, the heart of central Tokyo, where there are almost no free spaces, but one woman turns her roof into a garden. It occupies 66 square meter rooftop to contain various flowers and trees. The owner, Masayo Iwai, has spent 20 years of cultivating the space. She even had a tiny pond. The sound of running water helped to create a place where she can relax. Here in Fukuoka is an example of how even a small flat you can still find a space for gardens. After pondering how to create some kind of garden, the owner turned their balcony into a 9 square meter space with a bamboo fence and a pea gravel. They love it. They find it very soothing to be able to look out genuine Japanese style garden. Even the lifestyle is changed. The Japanese continue to cherish their gardens.